I traveled to Bangladesh with no guide 2 months after their modern day revolution. This past August, students rebelled and ousted their prime minister, some would say dictator, and I wanted to know what exactly I'd find exploring this wild country as one of the few travelers brave enough to go. My first mission was to explore the capital city of Dhaka. Since I was flying from Nepal, I got views of Everest on the way over, but things couldn't change any more drastically when arriving. Bangladesh is the most densely populated country on earth, and traffic here isn't just bad. It's a living organism. It breathes, it has its own ecosystem, and if you step into it, you either evolve or get consumed. Going on foot is faster than driving most of the time, but walking has its own interesting challenges. I saw hundreds of things being carried on people's heads, some of the most interesting being car parts, massive boxes, and a basket of live chickens. These were the most crowded streets I've ever seen, and even though I consider myself a crazy traveler, this was a humbling experience. Bangladesh moves a lot of goods via its massive river network, so the next stop was to head down to the launch terminal. Now, launch is just another word for ferry, but that makes it sound normal. These things are 4 stories tall and packed with thousands of people. Me and my friend Charlotte ended up taking one in the next video, but for now, we just wanted to explore the port. Many men were paddling across the river, and riding round trip, it was less than $1. And somehow, in the middle of all this chaos, floating across the river was the most peaceful moment of my time in Bangladesh. Until we arrived at a shipyard. Workers were hammering away and even smelting new parts with huge furnaces. I got to talk briefly with some of the guys working here, and even though we had a positive interaction, it seemed like a grueling job to do every day. In Dhaka, things move by manpower. There are bike taxis all over the city, and we decided to take one to the next destination. I honestly felt a little bit weird letting someone bike me across the city, but that's how most locals travel around. We explored a few other landmarks in Dhaka, like a pink palace and massive garden, but our interactions with people were far more interesting. We were asked countless times for photos, and being some of the few Western tourists, usually people were very curious about where we were from. Throughout the whole day of exploring, it was impossible to ignore the signs of what had occurred here just 2 months prior. Rebellion murals were painted on many walls across the city, and after talking to different young people, it seemed like there was a new sense of hope for the country. But I couldn't help but feel my own emotions about what happened as thousands of students died, and if I was here, that likely would have been my friends. If I had to boil down everything that happened into one takeaway, it would be this. If you come to Dhaka, you better be ready to go all in on Bangladeshi culture, otherwise things are going to be very difficult. Me and Charlotte took the public ferry the next day, which was one of the most impactful experiences of my life, and you're in luck since that's the next episode.